What is going on, guys? This is TheLostYeti here, and today we're checking out a game by the name of Deepest Sword. Deepest Sword was a game created by Cosmic Adventure Squad for a game jam, believe it or not. So this was created in, 72 hours or something like that? Regardless, I played through it once and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to share it with you. If you want to play it for yourself, remember, I'll put a link to it down in the description below. And without further ado, we're going to hop right into the game. Now, what's important to keep in mind with this game is that you control the knight and the sword separately, somewhat like Bennett Foddy's Getting Over It, if you're familiar with that. I'm not sure if this took inspiration from that or if this was before that or whatever. I haven't looked at the timeline, to be perfectly honest. But at the end of each level, you want to stab the dragon, and it will bring you to the next level, which is quite cool. There are multiple swords, and you reuse the same area a few times, which is kind of neat, and it creates a weird dynamic where basically the different length swords will give you different troubles based on like where you are. So like right now there's a path that works for me right here, but that path might not work for me in the future. Let's see if we can't get a good run on that. There we go. Sometimes I struggle with that portion, but it looks like we're going to be able to take on this dragon again. Now, my best time on this so far, in the time that I've tried it, was 29 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm hoping to somewhat beat that. I don't know if that's going to happen. And if you do try to do this for yourself, as I struggle here to stab the dragon, please do comment your time down below. I'd love to see where you guys stack up. It's quite a difficult game. Listen, it's harder than it looks, or at least I hope it is. Otherwise, I'm just being an idiot, which is totally within the realm of possibility, to be perfectly honest. And we'll probably have to be using these checkpoints multiple times, to be perfectly honest. But that's the dynamic I was talking about there, about using different lengths of the sword for different routes. But it looks like here we're actually going to have to get a pretty good swing on this guy. Deceivingly difficult is definitely a good synopsis of this. There we are. See if we can't take down the dragon. This last section is very satisfyingly easy, thankfully, because otherwise you'd be having a bad time, or I would be having a bad time. He says as he can't stab the dragon. There we go. Let's get our next sword coming on deck. There we go. I think there's 2 more swords after this, if I'm not mistaken. And there's definitely a technique to it. Now, I will say I play with the mouse controls. That's why you can see my mouse on the screen right now. I apologize. But there's also like all keyboard controls. I would highly recommend, if you're trying this for yourself, the mouse controls. I just find them a lot snappier, which help in a lot of the situations that you might find yourself in, specifically with this. But if you've figured out how to do the keyboard, I'd love to know what kind of wizardry you have to do to pull that off. Well, I believe I've gone and wedged myself. There we go. Oh. Speed is power. Okay, that didn't work. I was really trying. Can we just speed run this guy? Yeah, you can just run straight across. I feel very dumb. That's fine. There's definitely something to be said about momentum here. Let's put this back. There we go. Oh, not what I wanted to do. So if we can't stand the sort of... Oh, that's a situation I found myself in. Let's bring this guy on up. There we go. Beautiful. That went a lot better than I thought it would, to be perfectly honest. Beautiful. Pretty decent transition there. And through to the dragon's heart we go. We're making pretty good time. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm pretty darn satisfied with our run so far. If only I could do a little bit better on actually stabbing the dragon. That would be nice. Because I've just been struggling so much with the simplest things. Typically my content... Oh, actually, we're on the last sword. Look at that. So last sword, only 5 minutes in. I'm pretty proud of that. We're actually going to flip this around so it's a little bit easier here. There's definitely a lot to be said about just knowing which way you have to approach obstacles. So huge shout out to the devs if any of them are watching this, because it is A, a lot of fun, but B, very clever with what sections you have to go through with what. Wedge myself again. Okay, there we go. Speed is power, but not always. And like I was saying before, this is a perfect example of how before the sword length wasn't a problem. But now it becomes a nuisance to try to get everything to line up just right. So let's actually drop that sword off the edge. There we go. Wedge myself. So we're going to just try to bridge. Slow and steady wins the race. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, beautiful. Just going to hang out here. There we go. Onto this section, which I'm hoping is not nearly as difficult with the longer one, but I think actually I can just cheese the heck out of this. Yeah, beautiful. Done. And now we have to do this segment, which is definitely the hardest segment. So bear with me. This is going to take a lot longer than it should. And if I can just get past... I really struggle with this part right here. So if I can get past this, everything is going to be A-okay. Well, shouldn't say A-okay, but everything's going to be pretty decent. There we go. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lord. That section is the absolute death of me. So the fact that we got it as easily as we did is just going to show that nothing else will go how it should for me, pretty much. So I'm sure that I'll find a way to get stuck somewhere else. But in the meantime, I will be very happy with how we're doing. So... Now, I could just go for it, but I don't think that's the... Okay. I'll take that. That was not how I believe that I had done that in the past. I was just, like, so casual about it. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing, which is typically how my content goes, to be perfectly honest. I just have no idea what I'm doing for, like, most of the time. And then, somehow, we just make it through, so... On a hope and a dream... We're into the dragon's lair for the last time. Hopefully with a sub 10 minute time, which would be super sweet. But yeah, guys, this has been Deepest Sword. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed checking it out with me. Let's get some credits going. That's beyond the fastest that I've managed to beat this game. Like I said before, I'd love to hear how quickly you can beat the game down in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this and were impressed with my time, as I am, consider leaving a like on the episode. Subscribe for more content like this. As always, this has been your host, The Lost Yeti, and I hope to catch you guys in the next episode on the channel. I'll see you then.